Lately, I've been getting more and more questions about my film studies here in South Korea, so I thought it was time I'll try to address all of them and give you guys some tips in case you want to apply as well, or you're just thinking about it and want to know more what it's like to study filmmaking here.
Ready? Action!
So as I said, I study filmmaking and I make my master degree in Seoul with the Global Korean Scholarship. I study at Chung-Ang University. I'm currently in my 3rd semester and my program is focused on practical filmmaking. You can major in directing, writing, camera, producing, I think sound, but I don't know if anybody's actually doing that. So let's start with the question I get the most, and that is why I chose Korea for my film studies. I already studied filmmaking in Germany as well. I did my bachelor degree there, and during one semester I studied in Canada, and I learned that it is very helpful to also study in different countries, one for just general life experience and also to see how filmmaking is approached differently in different parts of the world. And then at one point I started to watch more and more Korean dramas and movies, and I really liked the way they were being produced and written. And I simply just wanted to learn how filmmaking is being approached in Korea. I originally wanted to come here to work. I was thinking about coming here on a working holiday visa, but then I talked to a senior at my university back in Germany, and she was at that time already finished with her bachelor degree, and she was studying in South Korea already, and she introduced me to the Global Korean Scholarship, which is the same scholarship I'm currently studying with here as well. And through her I learned about it and then did some more research, and I decided to apply for that as well. And yeah, everything worked out kind of. So instead of working here, I'm now currently here for my studies. In case you haven't heard of the Global Korean Scholarship, it is a scholarship funded by the Korean government, and it basically lets you study in Korea for free. You can apply for the bachelor or for the master degree, and I think there's also something for like your doctors, but I haven't really looked into that. What the scholarship covers is basically everything. So you get your flights covered, tuition covered, and you get like a certain amount every month for like living expenses like rent and food and health insurance and all that stuff. So a question I get a lot as well is if the scholarship money is enough. I would say yes, if you live a simple life. Also, if you come with a scholarship, you usually get like priority for living in the dorms of your university. So if you do that, then I think you can live off the scholarship. Saving up money is not that easy. So if you want to go travel or something, I think you would have to live very, very simply to do that and probably save for quite some time at least. For me, it was kind of hard to save up money, and for most of my friends on the same scholarship as well. It depends a little bit as well. I had like one university in Busan where, well, I did not go to, but they even offered if you come with the Global Korean Scholarship, you get to live in the dorms for free. And then obviously you do have a little bit of money left over, also because Busan is not as expensive as Seoul. So you can take that into your consideration as well if you're thinking of applying with the scholarship. But overall, I would say the money is enough. I am currently not living in the dorms. I moved out, and I'm also having a part-time job now to help cover those costs. So also one question, can you do part-time work? Yes, you can. You just have to get permission from like your school and from the immigration before you do so. For the next question, what qualifications do you need to apply? If you want to come with the scholarship, there are certain requirements that you have to meet just to apply in general, like certain grades. There are a lot of countries you can apply from, but you should check if your country is on the list, but most likely it will be, I would say. It's a pretty long list. And then for the film studies itself, I did not need any specific other requirements. However, what they did request of me from Chung-Ang University was a portfolio and a separate interview. You don't have that with every university. So I applied to 2 different universities as well, and they did not ask for that. So it's not every university, but just know it could be a possibility that your university, if it's a practical course, asks you to provide some of the works you've done so far. Or at my university, they also said in case you haven't shot any short films yet, because that was the portfolio they were asking for 2 different short films we filmed previously, you could also hand in a script you've written. So in case you didn't have any practical experience, that was an option too. So even though it's not required to have prior experience, obviously it will help your application. So let me talk a little bit about my background in film. As I mentioned, I already made my bachelor degree in Germany as well in filmmaking. So the program was quite similar to what I'm studying now, just even more towards like beginners because it was a bachelor degree. So I already had like the basic knowledge of like basic writing techniques, filming, editing, all of that. And then I also had like some smaller film festivals where some of my films screened, and I like mentioned all of that in my application. In case you are interested in the scholarship specifically, I also have like a whole video playlist where I go through my whole application and talk about that separately as well. So can you apply even though you don't have this prior experience? I would say in general, yes. For example, one girl in my semester right now, she did not do her bachelor in filmmaking, but in graphic design, I think it is. So she doesn't come from a film background. So it is possible to get in anyways. I always think the more experience you do have, the more helpful it is also to just prove that you are truly interested in filmmaking, especially because something like arts usually is not that easy to get into. So proving them that you have interest in this field for a little bit longer than just last week is always great. So even if it's just like, oh, a very short film you shot with your friends or anything, I think stuff like that always helps. Any experience or any online workshops, that will definitely help your application. But as it does for every major, I think, I think that's not really specific just for filmmaking. The next question I get a lot is about my actual film studies. How are my classes structured, or like how is this major? I would say the courses I have can be divided into two separate categories. One is like practical courses, and then one is like lecture style, you know, the standard classes you would expect from a university. In the practical courses, we usually have to shoot short films. For example, in the first semester, every single student had to make their own short film, which truly is like a lot of work and very exhausting, but also a lot of fun. And if you're interested in filmmaking, which I mean, I guess if you watch this video, you probably already shot like your own short film, so you know how difficult it already is to do that, and then to do that in a different language, because usually the film classes are 100% in Korean, at least at the universities I applied to. That's definitely challenging, but also a lot of fun. And yeah, I definitely learned so much through that first project. And then, for example, this semester I am in a project class where we have to shoot a short film, but in a group of people, which just makes it so much easier because you already have a team and you don't have to organize everything by yourself. So that's a lot of fun so far as well. And then there are like the lecture style classes. Some classes I took so far were, for example, an editing class where we looked at different editing techniques and what kind of emotion they evoke when used in a film. One of my favorite classes I have this semester is like a script writing class. We look at different short films and then talk about them, and we also get a lot of creative homework where we have to write our own short films based on other stories or just from our own, and then we discuss those different scripts in class and, you know, get feedback from the professor and give feedback to each other. So that's really, really cool. I had a class about sound editing, similar to the editing class, but instead of editing, we focused on the sound design of different films, and we each had to present a different film and how the overall sound concept was. That was really hard to do as well, because that was a 30-minute presentation in Korean. I was so nervous for that. I am happy I don't have to. Oh no, I do have to do that. I do have to do that this semester, because I have one class which is like a contemporary film class where we look at different modern movies, and everybody had to pick a different movie that they then have to like break down the structure of the script and present that as well for 30 minutes. So yeah, I think I'll have that like, I think it's not even next month. I think it's at the beginning of June, so I still have some time for that. So anyways, but yeah, I think you get like the feeling what kind of classes there are, and like each semester we can pick our own classes and we just have to register for them. You have to be kind of quick because some of the spots fill out quite fast, but so far I've gotten all the classes I wanted to, so it has not been too bad. The next question I get quite often is about whether or not there are acting classes at my major. No, not at my major. Mine is like specifically for being on the production side of filmmaking. There are certain opportunities where we like sometimes help act in each other's films for like smaller roles, so that's like one way to get some like minor experience in front of the camera, but there's no specific classes to improve your acting or have any coachings for that. That would be like completely different major. But even having like smaller roles, I feel like sometimes can be fun on short films, but also on like bigger productions. I was once like an extra for the film The Queen of Tears, and since then I'm like, it's kind of fun to just be able to observe everyone, and even if it's a short film, especially if it's like from a senior, it's really helpful to just have a look around how they do everything. Or like on that Netflix show, it was also really cool to just see how different really professional crews work as well. So yeah, that was a really great experience as well. How long is the degree? The master degree is 4 semesters, and if you come with a scholarship, you also have like language classes before that. Now the last question is, would I recommend studying here? Overall, if you're interested, which I assume you are. I would say yes, I really enjoy my time here. I feel like I'm learning a lot and I'm getting a lot better at a lot of different fields of filmmaking. You do have to know that it is really challenging, especially the language aspect, because as I mentioned, there's like the language here beforehand. But even with that, I know from like a lot of my friends who are also studying in Korean classes, it is still not easy to 100% follow all the lectures and everything. You really have to know by yourself if you're up for that challenge. And then filmmaking in itself, I mean, you probably know if you're interested in filmmaking, is very challenging as well and very time demanding and also money demanding, because making short films is not always the cheapest thing to do. So it would be better if you're able to save up some money beforehand to help you make the short films here, because as I said, saving money while on the scholarship is not really easy. And of course you can also make your short films very, very cheap, but the bigger the budget, the easier it is for you in the production part. But yeah, as I said, I'm really learning a lot. The classes are great, the professors are great, my classmates are really great. And then there's also the aspect of just studying in a different country, which I always think gives you so much life experience and so many new opportunities for growth and so many moments where you can just develop yourself a little bit more. I think I will never recommend against traveling in any sort of way, or living abroad or studying abroad. And I truly enjoy my time here a lot, and especially in a country with such a different culture, language, everything. There's so much new to explore every day. Even though I've been here for like over 2 years now, I still feel like there is so much more for me to get to know and experience. So yeah, those were like kind of the basics of what my film studies look like in South Korea. It's probably a little bit different from university to university, but overall I feel like if it's a practical filmmaking course, usually it is kind of the same. At least it was kind of the same in Germany and Canada and now here. So I think even in South Korea, the universities will be similar. There will be small differences in like what kind of courses they have or how they're structured, but overall there probably will be a lot of similarities. Yeah, let me know if you have any more questions, and otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye bye!